Did you know that some historians believe the story of Africa has been deliberately suppressed? Welcome to the Book and Documentary Reviews channel, where we delve into the narratives that shape our understanding of the world. Today, we are embarking on a journey through the vast and complex history of Africa, as presented in prominent documentaries. We'll be dissecting key findings, exploring controversial narratives, and uncovering the connections between Africa's past and its present. Africa's history is not a monolith. It's a tapestry woven from countless threads, stretching back to the very origins of humanity. Documentaries like Henry Louis Gates Jr.'s series boldly proclaim Africa as the cradle of humankind, a claim supported by overwhelming archaeological evidence. Think about that for a moment. The story of humanity, begins on this continent. We see glimpses of early civilizations such as ancient Egypt and Carthage, powerful empires that shaped the Mediterranean world. These were sophisticated societies with advanced systems of governance, architecture, and trade. They weren't isolated either. Africa has always been a continent of migration and interaction, a crossroads of cultures and ideas. But the narrative takes a dark turn with the advent of the transatlantic slave trade. From the 16th century onwards, European powers began to exert their influence on the continent, driven by the insatiable demand for enslaved labor in the Americas. This brutal chapter in history ripped apart communities, shattered families, and left a lasting scar on the African psyche. The scale of the devastation is almost unimaginable. Millions of people were forcibly removed from their homes, subjected to horrific conditions, and denied their basic human rights. The 19th century saw the scramble for Africa, a period of intense competition among European powers to carve up the continent for themselves. The Berlin Conference of 1884 formalized this process, with European leaders sitting around a table in Germany, drawing arbitrary lines on a map and dividing Africa among themselves without any regard for the existing political or cultural boundaries. This act of colonial domination had profound and lasting consequences, shaping the political landscape of Africa for generations to come. But the story of Africa is not one of subjugation alone. It's also a story of resistance, of resilience, and of the unwavering determination of African people to reclaim their sovereignty. The 20th century witnessed the rise of independence movements across the continent, as Africans fought for their right to self-determination. Kwame Nkrumah, a towering figure in the Pan-African movement, led Ghana to independence in 1957, becoming the first sub-Saharan British colony to break free from colonial rule. He even renamed the country after the ancient Empire of Ghana, a powerful symbol of reclaiming its past and forging a new identity. 1960 was a pivotal year, often referred to as the Year of Africa, as a wave of independence swept across the continent. However, the transition to independence was not always peaceful. In South Africa, the apartheid regime continued to enforce its brutal system of racial segregation and oppression. The Sharpeville massacre, where police opened fire on peaceful demonstrators, killing 69 people, became a turning point in the struggle against apartheid, exposing the brutality of the regime to the world. Zeinab Badawi's The History of Africa is a comprehensive BBC World News miniseries that attempts to grapple with the vastness and complexity of African history, covering everything from ancient civilizations to the challenges of the modern era. It's an ambitious undertaking, and while it has been praised for its scope and accessibility, it has also been criticized for its Eurocentric perspective and its failure to fully address some of the more controversial aspects of Africa's past. Henry Louis Gates Jr.'s series, on the other hand, takes a different approach, focusing on the cultural richness and diversity of the African continent. Both series, however, add much-needed perspective to viewing African history. One of the key questions that these documentaries raise is whether the story of Africa has been deliberately suppressed or distorted by Western narratives. Some argue that the focus on colonialism and slavery has overshadowed the achievement of pre-colonial African societies, while others contend that the legacy of colonialism continues to shape the continent's present-day challenges. There are also debates about the role of African leaders in perpetuating corruption and conflict, and the extent to which external forces are responsible for the continent's problems. Understanding Africa's past is crucial for understanding its present and shaping its future. The continent is facing a number of challenges, including poverty, inequality, and political instability. But it also possesses immense potential, with its vast natural resources, its young and dynamic population, and its rich cultural heritage. By learning from the lessons of the past, and by embracing a more inclusive and nuanced understanding of African history, we can help to build a brighter future for the continent. As we conclude our journey through African history documentaries, it's important to remember that this is just a starting point. There's so much more to learn, so many more stories to uncover. We encourage you to seek out these documentaries, to delve deeper into the history of Africa, and to form your own informed opinions. The continent's story is still being written, and it's a story that deserves to be heard. Thank you for joining us on the Book and Documentary Reviews channel. Be sure to like and subscribe for more in-depth analysis of the narratives that shape our world.